And some people have suggested maybe we should personalize it a bit. And I've had my children and now my grandchildren, and I get to live in this beautiful city that is just the most wonderful place to have my kids go to school, learn, and then have just a well-rounded education and a well-rounded and supported community around them. And now for my little grandbabies too. So I am very, very thankful to be on this land. Thank you. I think what we'll do, I don't know if we normally do, but I think it's always important to have introductions. So I'll start and then I'll call on through my screen. So I'm Donna Sargent. I'm a trustee in the district and currently just chairing this meeting. And then I have Chris.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Chris Susi, Superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Chris with a K.
I got to make that distinction, right?
Yeah, sorry.
I'm Chris Wilkins. I'm the Director of Facilities for the school district and the Acting Director of the Richmond Project team until next week, when the new director takes over.
Thanks for doing that. Elizabeth.
Good morning, everyone. Elizabeth Ayres, General Manager of Parks, Recreation and Culture. Chair Don, I just want to note, I am not seeing any of our council members on the screen, which is a little disconcerting. So I'm just going to step on my phone and make sure, and I'm wondering if there's been some confusion with an invite. I know I didn't get it and had to be asked for it. So I'm just going to step away for a sec.
That's a bit of a problem. I saw City of Richmond Council, so I thought someone was off camera.
I think that's our clerk's office, but let me double check. Apologies.
Maybe we'll continue, and then when the councillors come, they can introduce themselves. I have Cindy.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Cindy Wang. I'm the Secretary Treasurer for the school district. Oh, Alexa's here.
Good morning, Councillor Liu.
Sorry, your link didn't work this morning.
Oh, but you're on. We're just doing introductions.
Excellent. Good to see you.
Now, I want to make sure I pronounce your name correctly. Sonali?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, my name is Sonali. I'm the Manager of Transportation Planning at the city. Good to see everyone and happy 2025.
Thank you. Trustee Wong?
Alice Wong, as school trustee. Happy Chinese New Year.
Go ahead, Bronwyn.
Morning, everyone. I'm Bronwyn Thompson. I'm an assistant superintendent in the school district. Nice to see you.
Kim.
Morning, everyone. Kim Somerville, Director for Community Social Development.
Thank you. And Miriam.
Morning, everybody. Miriam Nasser, Assistant Superintendent in the school district.
Rav.
Good morning. Rav Johal, Director of Instruction Student Services with the Richmond School District.
And Keith.
Good morning, everyone. Keith Miller, Director of Recreation and Sports Services with the city. Nice to see everyone.
Good morning, Chris.
Chris Duggan, Manager of Community Social Development, and I'm here to give a childcare update today.
And Trustee Tablotny.
Yeah, Debbie Tablotny, Trustee with the Board of Education.
David.
Morning, everyone. David Sadler, Director of Communications and Marketing.
Good morning. And now I may need help. I don't want to say your name wrong. Hodby. Is that correct? I'm just reading on. Is that correct, Elizabeth?
I think you might be thinking of Lloyd.
Oh,
it looks
if it
very
is,
strange.
Oh,
is that
sorry?
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Lloyd B. I'm the Director of
looks like
Transportation here at the city.
It's funny.
Thank you, Lloyd. And Councillor Liu.
Alexa Liu, Councillor, City of Richmond.
Thank you, and Todd.
Morning, everyone. Todd Gross, Director of Park Services at the city.
Thank you, and our EA supports, Tiffany.
Hi, Tiffany Lee, Executive Assistant.
Thank you, and city support. Not sure who that is, but welcome.
Hi, Evander
Thank
Bison
you.
with the City Clerk's Office.
Okay, thank you so much. There is an agenda before you. If everyone's okay with that, could I get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Liu moved, seconded, Trustee Tablotny. All those in favor, opposed, carried. And there are minutes of the meeting that was held on November 6th, and we need a motion to adopt those minutes.
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Liu and Trustee Tablotny. All those in favor, opposed, carried. Now we have standing items. Let's go right to 3.1, Traffic Safety Advisory Committee. And Sonali, I'll just pass it right over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have a couple of updates based on discussion that took place at the last Traffic Safety Advisory Committee meeting that was held in November of last year. The first update is in regards to reduction of the posted speed limit to 30 kilometers per hour from 50 kilometers per hour in the Steveston neighborhood. So this is the neighborhood north of Steveston Village, bounded by Steveston Highway to the north and number 1 Road to the east. It also is the neighborhood where Byng Elementary School is. So that catchment now has a lower speed limit of 30 kilometers per hour. And so far, we've received positive feedback from residents in the neighborhood regarding speed reduction on those local streets. And another update, and you may have noticed if you've driven past the intersection of Canby Road and number 5 Road, that improvements have been underway regarding improvements to traffic flow and safety. That has been longstanding concerns at that intersection. The project is designed to enhance vehicle, pedestrian, and cycling movements and reduce congestion at number 5 Road and Canby Road. The new left turn bays that you may have noticed have been implemented with dedicated left turn arrows. And there are also widened sidewalks, and that work has now been completed, and there are some minor works remaining, but the majority of the major construction is now complete.
That's
one
great
last
news.
Oh,
Thank you.
good. Glad to hear. Yeah, and just one last update is the Richmond RCMP provides us statistics on monthly enforcement at these meetings, and some of the items that they wanted to share was that they had issued 180 tickets, actually over 180 tickets in the month of October, and they continued to run enforcement around school zones and other hotspot locations in the city. And that's the update from the last TSAC meeting.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Well, thank you very much for continuing to host that committee and to keep school zones and schools as safe as possible. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Moving on then to 3.2, childcare update. And I think Chris has a PowerPoint, so I'm passing it over to you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Today, I'm here to give a brief presentation providing an update of the city's new 2024 to 2034 childcare strategy. This strategy was adopted by Richmond City Council in December of 2024. And this presentation will provide an overview of the purpose of the strategy, the current childcare space supply in Richmond, comparisons to other municipalities, and some highlights of the strategic priorities that the city will be focusing on over the next 10 years. So this childcare strategy is the city's 5th childcare strategy since 1995, and it provides a number of insights into the current and future needs of childcare in Richmond. It will guide the city's work, policies, and initiatives related to childcare over the next 10 years. This strategy is a product of extensive engagement with the Richmond community, and that engagement included residents, parents, employers, and people who work in the childcare sector. Engagement included online surveys, community outreach sessions with parents and childcare providers, focus groups, and interviews with key childcare professionals in the community. We also had the support of an advisory committee to assist with the project, and that committee included representatives from Richmond School District, Vancouver Coastal Health, and the Supported Child Development Program, in addition to parents and childcare providers themselves. This slide summarizes the current and historical childcare supply in Richmond since 1995, when the city began developing childcare strategies. So as you'll see, back in 1995, there was 2,426 licensed childcare spaces in the city. And now in the third to right column circled in blue, you'll now see that there is 9,103 spaces in the city. So a significant growth of 6,677 spaces, which represents 275% growth in supply. We've seen increases in almost all categories of licensed care, with the exception of family childcare and occasional care. Family childcare is a category that during this period, the ministry created a new category called in-home multi-age care. So in this area, we haven't necessarily seen a loss of spaces in single-family homes, but we have seen a transition to a different new license category. With regards to occasional care, this is childcare where families can register to drop in on a more occasional basis. And that is an area where we have seen a loss of almost all of our occasional care spaces in the city, and is something that the city will be looking to try and incorporate as we move forward in the next 10 years. This slide captures summaries in a number of different ways of the current childcare supply in Richmond. As you'll see in the top right-hand corner, or left-hand corner, sorry, the type of license. We've used the three main categories of childcare license: group childcare for under 36 months, typically referred to as infant and toddler care. That category has grown significantly in the past several years, and we currently have 42.4 infant and toddler spaces per 100 children in our community. Group childcare for 30 months to school age. This is typically what's considered our preschool population of 3 to 5-year-olds before they enter kindergarten. Again, this is an area where we have a very healthy supply of licensed childcare, with 67.2 spaces per 100 children. And then licensed group care for children who are school age. This is typically before and after school care, as well as full day care on days of school closure. This is an area that is a continual focus for the city, and based on our conversations with the school district, also a focus for the school district, where we're only able to currently provide spaces for 15.6% of the children in school age. You will see there's an asterisk on this table because the numbers are not going to add up at the bottom, because we have only included in the table the types of care that are defined by age. Family childcare and multi-age care are childcare categories where you can have children from birth all the way up to age 12. So it's very hard to fit those childcare types into this box of dividing things by age, and anything we would do in that area would be a very, very preliminary estimate. So we've eliminated those multi-age programs from the initial data. But overall, we currently have licensed childcare spaces for about 38% of the 0 to 12 population in Richmond. The map on the right-hand side will look a little bit familiar to the school district colleagues. This is a map that is mirrored on similar types of mapping exercises that the Human Early Learning Partnership does with regards to EDI, MDI, and YDI data. So the darker colors on this map represent areas of higher childcare supply in relation to the child population of that planning area. So as you'll see, there are some areas where the supply exceeds the number of children. The Gilmore area is an example of that, where there are more childcare spaces in that neighborhood than there are there are children. We do know that families are very transient in accessing childcare, with it being in such short supply. So we do also look at the overall map of the community. There's also some areas of the map where data has been suppressed due to significantly low numbers of children. But overall, we are doing very, very well in the provision of childcare and the expansion of childcare in Richmond. And we also had in this strategy some regional comparison. So Metro Vancouver also undertook a childcare strategy in 2020, a childcare survey in 2023. And we did see growth across the region by about 33%. The average for Metro Vancouver is 25.1 spaces per 100 children. So at our 38 spaces, we're doing incredibly well. There are only a very small number of other areas in Metro Vancouver, including Tsawwassen First Nation, the UBC Endowment Lands, and Pitt Meadows, who had more licensed childcare spaces per 100 children than the City of Richmond in 2023. We also, through the extensive community engagement that we did, identified a number of key childcare needs for the community. This was a compilation of the information gathered through our online surveys, as well as our focus groups and direct conversations with families. As you can see, there's not a lot of surprises at the key themes on this slide: spaces, quality, flexibility, information, location, transportation, support for caregivers, and inclusivity are essentially what we have been focusing on for a number of years. So this reinforced that we're continuing to go in the right direction with all of these priorities. We then took all of the data that we compiled and came up with a set of 5 strategic directions to guide the work over the next 10 years. These include creating and maintaining spaces, quality, inclusivity, and accessibility, advocacy, collaboration, and education and information. Under each of these areas, there's a series of 42 actions that will help us work towards achieving a goal of having a higher supply of accessible, inclusive, and quality childcare for families in Richmond. Next steps will be to begin development of an implementation plan for this strategy. The school district is a key partner with the city in this work, and our staff met with the facilities team and the district administrator for early learning and childcare earlier this week to begin discussions about how the school district's long-range facilities plan update and the new childcare strategy can both help us to collaborate and work together to increase the supply of licensed childcare in Richmond. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. If you could put your screen down, that would be great. Just so I can catch. Thank you. Just catching any hands.
Madam Chair, the strategy as well is in the process of being distributed to members of the school board. So you will receive copies of that in probably within the next 2 weeks. We're just in the process of printing those documents.
That's great. Thank you. And I'm just, I guess I don't see hands, so I have a couple of questions. You were noting the difference between childcare and before and after school care. And if I heard you right, before and after school care is a real need. All of it's a need, but there seems to be not enough spaces at all. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes, Madam Chair. School-age childcare is the license category where we've seen the least progress towards increasing the numbers, and that is currently the highest priority for a license type or an age group that we're hoping to address the need for.
Okay, thank you. And you'll be working with our staff too.
Yes.
And have you seen any changes in the preschool numbers? I know you gave us some numbers. We were updated by our staff the other day in that we're just not seeing as many young people going to preschool. They seem to be going right to childcare. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, we have also heard that anecdotally from our community association colleagues as well as other childcare providers in the community, it does seem like the need for or the demand for part-time preschool programs has decreased. It had been decreasing slowly over time, and then the COVID-19 pandemic seems to have really hit that particular sector of childcare really, really hard.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, then thank you very much for that, and I'll be really interested to get a copy of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to 3.3, Joint Richmond School District and City of Richmond Program Committee. I'm going to pass it over to Cindy and Elizabeth, or who would like to take this?
I think on the school district side is Rav, who is representing the district.
Thank you. And then on the city side would be?
It's myself.
Thank you, Keith. Okay, so Keith and Rav, over to you.
Keith, I'm okay if you want to provide the update, and then I can just speak to an example that came out of that October meeting.
Yeah, certainly. I think we were probably looking to speak to the same example then, so that's that's great. I will note that the program committee has met recently on January 16th. Minutes from that meeting will be forthcoming to the group. Prior to that, we'd met in October, and I don't believe the meetings were, the minutes were attached or circulated yet, and so we'll make sure that those are sent around for the group to see. One highlight that I think Rav was referring to that we're both speaking of, at the October 18th meeting, the school district provided a presentation on the community schools program and initiative. And at the time, they were looking for additional community partners to be able to expand the programs that are being provided at schools. And really happy to highlight that following that conversation and continued collaborations between our two organizations, we've been able to add additional basketball programs as a result of our collaborative work together. So, Rav, you might have something further to add to that.
No, that's great, Keith. I think just for everyone on the call, the Community Schools Program Initiative is really about supporting opportunities for students in the upper elementary ages who might not have access to after school programming. And that might be for a variety of reasons. It might be socioeconomic barriers. It might be that they attend a school that's not close to a community center. And something that we've identified in the school district in the last couple of years is just that kids love basketball. And so we appreciate that following that presentation in October, able to be connected with the appropriate city staff and get a couple of after-school programs focused on basketball up and running starting last week at Woodward Elementary and Kidd Elementary. So just pleased to report that back, just that those conversations with the city and school district staff, very valuable, and just a lot of partnerships that continue to emerge out of those conversations.
That's fantastic. Are there any comments or questions? Now, Cindy, were we sent the minutes just as an aside of the agenda? Was that what we received?
Yeah, I believe Tiffany just sent out the minutes last week or beginning of this week.
Okay, so perhaps not everybody has them yet, so we'll get an update at the next meeting then, more detailed. Thank you very much for all your work on that. Moving on to 3.4, any future agenda items under the standing items? Anybody would like any updates for the next meeting? We meet, I think, 3 times a year, so it's good to make sure that we get updates from both sides. Okay, well, nothing here, but I know over the next couple of months, I'm sure we're all having lots of busy things happening, so we'll have an update, I'm sure. Moving on to business arising and new business, the Richmond School District. We're really engaging our community on the long-range facilities plan and our strategic plan. So we're doing a lot of listening. 2025-2030 strategic plan The board has approved the public engagement timeline. And I'm going to pass it over to Chris UC to give an update to all of you. You're on mute.
My apologies. Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, good morning, everyone. Just for the benefit of our colleagues at City Side, as mentioned by the chair, the Richmond Board of Education approved last Wednesday, January 22nd, the engagement timelines. So we have actually commenced in earnest the engagement, the strategic plan 2025 to 2030. The board has a policy that requires the need to engage in new strategic planning process every 5 years. Our current strat plan was from 2020 to 2025, and of course, we are just in the process. It's exciting time for us to be out there to listen to the voices of our parents, staff, members of the community at large, and all our partners in this process. So there's information that is posted on our website. And of course, I will also have communications sent to the city. And I know that in many ways, the work that is underway in the city, in many aspects, also is of value in the sense that we try to coordinate as much as possible how those things interact with the work we do. So we are really looking forward to. So there'll be different opportunities, ways of gathering voices from our community. We have, in addition to in-person sessions, we're going to have 4 in-person sessions across the city. There will also be a survey that is will be launched on Monday or Tuesday next week, and that survey, of course, again, is open to all. And I know that our board is committed to that broad engagement to make sure that we're hearing from everyone in our community in terms of in the different aspects of the work we do in the district to educate young people and as they transition from elementary to secondary and from secondary to post-secondary. And so that's all part of the information. We will make sure that the dates, when you check on the website, we have some dates identified there, but that site will be updated regularly. And I know that David is on this call, David Sadler, our communications director. That site will be updated regularly so that folks in the city and others as well. So we very much appreciate and thank you in advance to the extent that the city is able to communicate that in your different tables and let people know that the Board of Education Richmond is engaged in this process. That would be really appreciated. So thank you again, Madam Chair. I just wanted to provide just a very high-level overview. And of course, if there are any questions, we're happy to offline or here to respond to questions.
Thank you. And the board, along with our senior staff, really took a lot of time and brainstormed who would be interested in giving us some feedback. And of course, like you, I know you go out a lot and seek feedback. There are a lot of people that have opinions and want us to know about it. So we were really trying to brainstorm agencies that we work with, RCMP, up just all of the nonprofits. So as Chris says, if you could help us with that, we would really appreciate it. And we're kind of proud that we have a new video, and I know we can't probably show it today because we didn't queue it up, but David and his team created a really simple, easy video that we're putting on our website. And I'm wondering, David, if you could send that to the council board members along with the timeline, the one-sheeter. I think that would be really helpful.
Sure.
Did you want to speak to anything around the communication, David?
I think Chris had covered most of the areas, but it's a pretty fulsome plan, and we're definitely looking to reach out to a variety of community partners at multiple points during the process.
Thank you. So we'll send that right to the committee so you all have it. Anything else from the school district? Wanted to update on that, Chris?
No, thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. We're coming to the end of our public meeting. The next meeting will be April 30th at 9:30. And I'm looking for a motion for adjournment. moved by Trustee Tablotny and seconded by Councillor Liu. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. And staff will make the appropriate exits for the closed meeting.